Hello everybody, welcome to the Sachsenring. Chris Hartley here to talk you through the first race of the weekend in what is already the penultimate round of the BMW M2 Cup. We're here at this wonderful undulating anti-clockwise circuit. We got Max Rozam qualifying on pole position for the second time this season, and Leighton Fourie, the South African driver, as the driver on form, the championship leader. Let's go down to the grid now though and catch up with Verena Vriet.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Sachsenring. It is hot and we're thrilled to get racing today here with the BMW M2 Cup, and in fact it's a premiere for the BMW M2 Cup here at the Sachsenring. So let's do it, but before we talk to the racers, to the drivers, let's have a look back at the last race weekend.
Drop the engines into full throttle and charge towards the first corner. Leighton Fourie in the number 46. Out wide is Denny Byrne. He takes a trip to the grass. The jet driver is about to dive down the inside to get the lead on the race with 2 laps to go. Jan Mathias times it perfectly. Leighton Fourie trying to come back at him. The South African in the number 46 car. They're still side by side. Driver wins again with a gutsy drive. He wins second place.
All right, so we're ready for the race today. But before, let's talk about innovation, because obviously the BMW M2 Cup is not just about young talents and education, but also innovation. And Project One has a green room here at the Sachsenring. In fact, every time they're here, they have this green room where they present innovations. And one of the people who actually has a fantastic innovation is David Schone. And I'm very impressed because till 2 weeks ago, you were a student and already you developed something that's so phenomenal and has so much potential. And it's all regarding an e-bike. So tell us about that, David.
Yeah, hi, I'm David Schone. I'm 26 years old and I'm the founder of Invectricity, which is a new startup in electric mobility. And yeah, since 2018, so all the time in parallel to my studies, I've been developing this bike, which is very innovative because it has a modular battery system. It has a hub drive in the rear wheel, which is a world premiere because it has water cooling. It is very lightweight, very agile, very high performance. And I'm hoping to roughen up the world of motorsports there a little bit.
And that is really cool because ever since you were 5 years old, you were racing with bikes, motocross. And the thing is that, which I didn't know, is that it's so loud and a lot of people were always complaining about it. So now basically the solution you found could be the solution.
Yes, I hope so, because that's a very big problem I had to face during my time when I was growing up racing motorbikes. And I love the sport, but I hate the image the sport has, because you always get into conflict with your neighbors, with people who are just annoyed by the noise. And these new electric drivetrains that can be integrated into the bikes really help the sports to expand a little bit more again, so you can ride near the cities. Nobody will notice, nobody will complain, and that's a huge chance for the sport, for the image, and yeah.
Yeah, David, I think it's a phenomenal idea. And I mean, this whole idea about the green room, I mean, if you guys have innovations, if you have ideas, feel free to contact us, because that's what David did as well. And last thing, I'm crossing my fingers because I heard you're going into a series hopefully soon.
Yeah, I hope so. There is just one more prototype coming in the next 1 or 2 months, and then whole fall and winter will be hardcore testing all the time, and then I hope the bike will be ready for serial production by early to mid next year. So sometime about mid 2024, I hope the bike will be ready.
All right, well, we're crossing our fingers for you. David Schone, best of luck with your idea. It's phenomenal. Thank you so much. And now let's talk to the drivers, because the man who's starting in pole position is Max Rozam. And he's all eager to get started, that's for sure. So Max, it's going to be exciting today. Another hot day here, and it's a premiere at the Sachsenring. So what are you going to make out of your pole position? A win, hopefully?
Yeah, hopefully a win. I love the track, and yesterday the pole position was a very good feeling. And yeah, we'll see how it's going today.
And the Sachsenring, how tough is it? I mean, I heard from a lot of the other drivers, they were saying it's so much fun, but also pretty tricky.
Yeah, very special also for the tires. So you have nearly now straights and only turns, and it is how to
Control the car.
yeah, exactly.
All right, well, Max, I'm sure you'll do it. So thank you so much. And now let's move on to P3. We've got Jan Matthias sitting in the car, ready to get racing. I mean, this is just always pretty tricky because it's so hot sitting in the car, and they're just ready. They just want to, just go for it. But he's still got to wait a few minutes. So Jan, hello there. How are you doing?
Hello, good.
Sweating, I guess?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Well, you will later on in just a bit. So starting from P3, I mean, a podium looks very realistic. What are you going to make out of your P3?
Well, the goal is to win, of course. But this track is so much fun, and I think it will decide who will manage the tires because it's so demanding. But it will be fun.
I'm sure it will be. Well, best of luck, Jan. Thank you so much. And now we've got a lady starting in P4. It's Claudia Henning. And in fact, I'm not quite sure when it was, but the race weekend before, I think, she was around P7, and now she's starting in P4. So once again, improvement here from Claudia. Hello there. Starting in P4. I already just said that you already had a P7, I think, starting position. But today, I mean, you've got to get towards the podium. So how are you going to do it? It would be phenomenal to see you up on the podium.
Yeah, the qualifying yesterday went very well, so I'm feeling very confident for the race, and let's see what I can make out of it.
We're definitely crossing our fingers for you. And the Sachsenring, do you like the Sachsenring? It's challenging but fun, right?
Yeah, it's my first time here, but it's a very fun track. I like it a lot.
All right, make the best out of it, Claudia. Thank you so much. And now we are ready to get racing, so let's do it. Here, commentators, enjoy.
Thanks very much indeed, Verena. Yeah, the cars lined up. The temperature, pretty pleasant, 21 degrees at the moment. It's actually a bit cooler than it was yesterday when they were out qualifying in the early evening. Max Rozam there getting his second pole position of the year. He got his third pole position for tomorrow as well, because the fastest lap time for each driver sets the grid for race 1, and each driver's second best lap time sets the grid for race 2. For tomorrow, he's only pipped that man, Leighton Fury, by 0.04 of a second based on their second fastest lap times. But Leighton is the championship leader and the driver on form with 3 wins out of the last 4 races. Jan Matthias gave him a real run for his money last time out at the Lausitz-Ring, though. He was a driver that qualified on pole 3 weeks ago. He got really unlucky in the first race when he was clipped in turn 1 by Denny Berndt and out into retirement straight away. But he led race 2. In the end, though, Leighton Fury came through and found a way past and found a way to win the race. There's Senna Van Sola a little bit further down the grid than perhaps he would have liked. He's 5th in the championship. He's been a winner this season as well. We've had 3 wins for Leighton Fury. We've had 2 wins for Bart Horsten and Denny Berndt, and Senna Van Sola, the other race winner this season. There is Bart Horsten back in 6th place then. Now he is 2nd in the championship. And the Australian in his 2nd season of the BMW M2 Cup is the only non-rookie out there. The rest of them are all in their 1st season, including Robbie McAfee, who's had a spin yesterday out in qualifying out at turn 8, where I watched qualifying, which was pretty dramatic actually. We had 2 cars, or 3 cars going through the gravel traps at high speed as they all pushed to get 2 quick laps in the 30-minute qualifying session. And Jan Matthias was one of them. Senna Van Sola and another that had to run through the gravel trap at turn 8. And there was a spin for Robbie McAfee, but he had some quick lap times and got himself up the order in the end. And there was a big moment with Gianni van der Kratz, who's back for his 2nd guest appearance this weekend. The Dutch driver who got a really impressive 5th place finish on debut at the Lausitz-Ring. And he was on a hot lap, and Denny Berndt was cooling down, and Denny didn't see him coming in the mirrors, and there was a big intake of breath from everybody in the grandstands as the pair almost came together on the run, fast run up through towards turn 9, but they got away with it in the end. So Leighton Fury, the championship leader there on the front row of the grid for this one in car number 46. He's got 127 points after the 2 points he picked up for qualifying in 2nd place. Pole position gets 3 points, 2nd fastest gets 2, and a point if you qualify 3rd. So Leighton's now got an 11-point championship lead over Bart Horsten, and Bart's got work to do in the black number 50 car from back on the 3rd row of the grid. He's on 116 points. Then you've got Max Rozam, the driver on pole position, 3rd in the championship on 106 0.5 points. 0.5 because it was a half points race in a race that wasn't run to full distance at the Nürburgring. There then the grid, Max Rosam and Leighton Fury on the front row. Jan Matthias looking for his first win. And Claudia Henning with the best qualifying for her so far this season. Senna van Sola and Bart Horsten on row 3. Robbie McAfee and Denny Baird, a very quick row 4 there, 7th and 8th. Colin Berninghausen would be a bit disappointed with 9th. He got his first podium at the Lausitzring last time out. Luca Link in his first season of car racing, 10th. Gianni van der Kratz as a guest driver won't score points. Julius Denissen back, the Danish former Formula 4 driver. And then Luisa Carla and another driver that missed the last round, Adrian Rushny, because he was ill. Carmen Kraft starts 15th, and another guest starter making her first appearance in the championship is Esme Kosterman. She races in Holland in the Fiesta Sprint Cup. She's currently going very well in that series, running in 3rd place overall, looking to move up into the top 2 in that championship. But they're front-wheel drive cars, and it's a first time at the Sachsenring, a first time driving rear-wheel drive cars. So no expectations, she's just trying to get some experience here. And she'll be racing at Zandvoort next weekend in Fiestas in a main championship. There you saw the championship points as we go into the penultimate weekend of the season. Just 2 races to go here at the Sachsenring and 2 races at the Red Bull Ring in a couple of weeks' time to round out what's been a fascinating championship. This is very much looking at developing these young talents, building them up through into eventually GT4 and GT3, and they give them an all-round package at BMW. It's not just about the experience on track and the feedback they get from working with different engineers, working in different cars as well. All the cars are drawn by lot. They're all presented by Project One and BMW, and you just are given a car, the number drawn out of the hat for each weekend, so they're driving different cars each weekend to make it about driving ability. And then you work with a different mechanic because the mechanics stay with the cars, but you also get media training, lots and lots of physical fitness training. They've had a nutritional session this weekend. Drivers get to go up in race control and understand how things work from the stewarding point of view as well, to give them an all-round experience and develop these young drivers in this pyramid that they provide up towards ultimately GT3 racing. And many of them will be in the garage later with Project One, who run 2 BMWs and the DTM as well, as that being the ultimate aim for a lot of these drivers. So the cars coming up over that crest, look, that very steep uphill climb you have coming out of turn 13, the Queckenbeck curve. You've got to get that right because it's uphill all the way pretty much to turn 1. And turn 1, a real pinch point. It's pretty much a hairpin. It's one of the slowest corners on the lap, and it also quickly descends. So you get into the corner, and halfway through the corner, it begins to drop and spin downwards and to the right. So huge undulations on this circuit. It's a fantastic track. It's a real challenge for the drivers, and I think we're going to have a great day's racing. Right, Chris Hartley, trackside, to talk you through this first BMW M2 Cup race of the weekend. I can see the cars have lined up now. I'm just overlooking the last car on the grid. The green flag is waved, and the race is about to get underway for 30 minutes plus 1 lap of race. African keeping his fun in, trying to get the inside line here. They're still absolutely together. And then you've got Jan Matthias holding on to 3rd place at the moment. Claudia Henning is coming under fire though from the yellow number 24 car. Senna van Sola in the battle for 4th place, and Fury's got the inside line through to turn 3. He gets the lead of the race away from Max Rosam. So the championship leader into 1st place, the pole sitter down to 2nd. You can't really see from the pitch here, but it's a steep climb here up through turns 4, 5 and 6 to the crest then at turn 7, and then they begin to drop downhill, so all the weight shifts to the front of the car. And this next gravel trap is the one that was catching a few of them out yesterday in qualifying, as they get all the power as quickly as possible, charge downhill, and then begin the climb uphill to the next quick section of the circuit, up through turns 9 and 10, and then it really does open up here down the back straight, down the waterfall to the last 2 corners of the lap. And a clean start here from everybody, a really good start from Senna van Sola, who got himself up from the 3rd row of the grid, firstly ahead of Claudia Henning, and then up into 3rd place ahead of Jan Matthias. So it is Fury that leads, Rosam in 2nd, and a great start for Senna van Sola, the Dutch driver, in 3rd. Senna van Sola, oh, out wide, there goes one of the cars. Is that, yeah, Robbie McAfee, who's just gone into the gravel trap, loses a couple of places, including to Julius Denissen, the Danish driver. In the 95 car, he gets past him. So a pretty frenetic first lap of the race. Brave stuff from Leighton Fury. to eventually at turn 3 get the lead. He was squeezed, wasn't he, by Max Rizam all the way into turn 1. Max didn't make life easy for him, but the championship leader through and into first position, and his nearest rival in the points, Bart Horston, has made a place up. He's in 5th position. Great drone shot here as you watch the cars charge through turn 3. This is quite a steep uphill climb now through the left at turn 4, turn 5 and turn 6. You're climbing all the way up here, so you've got to get a good exit, good acceleration, good traction on these 365 brake horsepower cars. They'll run on Goodyear slick tyres with big 18-inch wheels, 7-speed paddle shift gearboxes, and 3-litre engines give about 365 brake horsepower. So you get a replay of the start. It's an uphill start as well, so it's tricky to get this right. Then you go over a little crest, it flattens off and into that right-hander, and there, look, the top two absolutely side by side. You have Senna van Serle in the yellow 24 car going around the outside of first Claudia Henning, and then Julius de Niesen, Jan Mathias in the 57 car. And eventually picking a couple of places. That was Robbie McAfee taking a wild ride through the gravel trap, but doing really well actually to hold onto the car and get it back on track. But he has dropped down the order to 12th place as a result of that. With all the traction he lost, almost came into the side there of Denison, but good reactions from both drivers. And it was a good save that from Robbie, who's learning all the circuits this year. The Australian, first time racing these European circuits. Like quite a few other drivers, also racing the BMW M2 Cup Benelux, which is co-led at the moment, that championship, by Leighton Fury and Senna van Serle, two of the front runners in this championship. Look at this side by side as Robbie McAfee in the blue and yellow number 22 BMW trying to get his place back from Julius de Niesen. This is the battle for 11th place. Behind them in the second of the yellow cars is Adrian Rushne in the number 12 car, running in 13th place. Robbie McAfee side by side now. A really good qualifying yesterday, trying to make up some of the time he lost in that run through the gravel trap. Car should be okay, I think. Dirtied the tyres a bit, but I don't think there's any damage to the car. So Robbie pushing on the Australian here, trying to get a position. And Claudia Henning is about to lose a place to Denny Berndt there. So that's for 6th place. And number 8, Denny Berndt, two-time race order at the start of the season at Oschersleben, comes through. And Claudia Henning, who qualified 6th at the Lausitzring, and now 4th here in her first season of car racing, first time racing at Sachsenring, doing a really good job in qualifying, but dropping back a little bit at the start of the race to 7th place now in the number 23 car, and potentially about to lose another place here to the 33 machine of Luca Link. Luca comes through and squeezes up the inside, and he gets past, and Claudia Henning going backwards at the moment because that's Colin Jamie Berninghausen getting past in the 55 car as well. So Link and Berninghausen both getting through. Berndt got her earlier on. I think she's down to 9th place now, unfortunately, for Claudia Henning. A bad lap for her. Hopefully she's not got an issue with the car, because she looks like she's struggling. Berninghausen just making sure of the job now. He gets up the inside, and then Robbie McAfee down the inside into turn 1, getting out of Julius de Niesen. Then you've got Edwin Rushne trying to find a way past as well in the number 12 car. So great battling as ever here in the BMW M2 Cup. You've always got someone to race. Good effort that from the 18-year-old Robbie McAfee to get through. Former Australian Formula Ford racer. Did some sports car racing in Australia as well. But as I say, it's his first time racing in Europe. You got Adrian Rushne just behind as well. Another 18-year-old young gun who competed, like several of the other drivers, in the BMW 318 TI Cup club-level championship with huge grids of BMWs. Did that last season. Did some rally sprinting the year before that because his dad was a rally driver. He's trying to get through. There's the other yellow car, though, of Senna van Serle, number 24, who, having got to 3rd place on lap 1, is now doing everything he can to fend off Jan Mathias in the 57 car. Jan trying to get back that position and back onto a podium spot here. And you can see he's just been closing the door a little bit over the last couple of laps. Up ahead, there's not much between the top two either. Max Rizam knows this track from a year racing in the German GT4 Championship last year, and loves it. All the drivers I spoke to yesterday after qualifying all love the circuit, and it is a real driver's favourite, this. I think any circuit with undulations and hugely quick corners, which this place has, always ticks the boxes for the drivers. So great experience for them here at the Sachsenring. It was built, this place, in 1927, initially as a street track connecting the local villages. Then in 1937 it became the Sachsenring and hosted the East German Motorcycle World Grand Prix for many years. The likes of the great Giacomo Agostini Racing here, and it's still a MotoGP racetrack, a World Championship Grand Prix venue, and a very popular one, so lots of history in terms of two-wheel action, but it's a great track for cars to drive as well. The east of Germany, we're not that far from the Czech Republic. We're around about 20 kilometres from Chemnitz, about 95 kilometres from Dresden, and the circuit setting very unusual because it's almost in the middle of a residential area. It's within the confines of a modern business park, and you get to onto the sat-nav, you get about a kilometre away, and you think there's no way we're near a racetrack. There's nothing here, there's just houses and business parks. Oh, Julius Denison into the gravel trap from 12th place, and stranded, I'm afraid, as well, the former Formula 4 racer. So I don't think he's getting out of there, and the safety car is going to be deployed. Let's get a replay of what happens, and that's coming down to turn 8. You've got a face full of the BWT branding. He almost saved it, but then back on the track into a spin, and then back into the next gravel trap. He went on the way up towards turn 9, and so he caught it, but it oversteered as reacted, and then when the tarmac gripped the slick tyres, it just pitched him into a spin backwards into the next gravel trap. So Denison out, safety car deployed, everybody bunched back up. Not that there was much of a gap between the top two anyway. Leighton Fury leading the race then, and at the moment he is on course to pick up 20 points for the race victory to further extend his championship lead. And there's a point for the fastest lap as well in each race. And at the moment Denny Berndt has that, so Denny fourth in the championship with the fastest lap. We've got a black and white warning flag for Max Rozan for forcing another car off track. I could only imagine that was for the very start of the race when he was running side by side with Leighton Fury, as though he battled hard for the lead of the race. If he can win this one, that'll be a hat trick of wins for Leighton Fury, who came into the championship as a guest driver for one weekend last year at the very end of the season at Hockenheim, and got a podium finish there, so we all knew he was going to be good. He's former multiple South African karting champion, and has also competed with great success in cars in South Africa as well, a VW Polo Cup champion before coming into this. Of course, he's switching again from front wheel to rear wheel drive car, so it's not the easiest thing. I was talking to Esme Kosterman about this, and some of the things you have to do are the opposite of what you do in a front wheel drive car. So if you start to lose it in a front wheel drive car, you actually accelerate, put the power down to get out of the spin, out of the slide, but it's the opposite. You have to back off in a rear-wheel drive car. Saying you have to be more progressive on the throttle in rear-wheel drive cars as well, whereas, especially with the power that you've got on these BMWs, if you're coming from something like VW Polo Cup Racing or Fiesta Sprint Cup Racing, you can generally stamp on the throttle a bit more, but you have to be a little bit more tentative with these cars. It's a great training ground for them. Leighton Fury doesn't seem to have had too much trouble making the switch. He's only 17, comes from Johannesburg in South Africa, and as I say, VW Polo Cup champion 2 years ago. Won the VW Challenge Championship as well, and last year won the Global Touring Cars Super Cup Championship within South Africa before coming here to Europe. So a really talented young driver. Spoke to him yesterday. I said, "Are you happy-ish with second places?" And he had a smile on his face. He said, "Yeah, that's okay." He said, "You know, I've got the points lead now. I don't need to win every race. I've got my main rival behind me. It's all good." And he reckoned he left a bit out there in his qualifying lap as well. I reckon he dropped a couple of tenths. So he was pretty confident that if he could get a good start, he'd have the pace to get a race victory here. And that's, so far, exactly what's been happening. So he's on course for a win, and with it would come 20 points. He's already got 2 points from this morning. Bart Horston currently in 5th place. That would muster 12 championship points as it stands, and Max Rozan, who's 3rd in the championship, he's currently in 2nd place. He'd get 18 points as it stands. Denny Berndt 4th in the championship, 6th in the race. That'll give him 10 points, plus the fastest lap point that he's got at the moment. So by my maths, as it stands, Leighton Fury would open up the championship lead from 11 to 19 points. Almost a race win in hand, with only 3 races to go after this. It's a nice position to be in. It's not job done, but it's a nice position to be in. And he's on the front row of the grid for tomorrow's race as well. Replay at the moment. Julius Denison coming out of that sweeping turn 7 through the gravel trap. Got it back on the trap, but then hit the hoarding. sent into an oversteer and ultimately ended up in the gravel trap at the next corner, turn 8. He's okay, but unfortunately out of the race. Plenty for the fans and officials to keep their eye on here this weekend at the Sachsenring, a circuit that can really bite you if you get it ever so slightly wrong. You've got to be very committed to some of these corners because you're coming over crests sometimes, these uphill to downhill sections. You're coming into blind corners. You just got to have a real feel for it. Talking to our guest starter, Gianni van der Kratz, about this yesterday, and he said it's just about having a feel for it, really. You're not really looking for marker points on the track. It's just feel, and the more you do it, the more you just instinctively know where to hit the brakes, where to turn in, even if you can't see the corner ahead. And with that comes more and more confidence. It's a confident circuit, this. Building your confidence, but not getting too carried away, because, as I say, those gravel traps can suck you up pretty quickly. So Leighton Fury leads the race. Half a second was his advantage over Max Rozan. That's now down to virtually nothing. Senna van Stola will be one to watch as well, having got to 3rd place. The Dutch driver, a good start to the race for him as well. Senna competing in BMW Benelux this season as well, as I mentioned, and fighting for that championship. That'll be at Zandvoort next week, so it's a busy portion of the year for them. Safety car lights still on. But coming in on this lap, we're told, so we're going to go racing at full speed once again very soon. It'll be interesting to see what Senna van Stola can do here. 17 years of age. His favourite track coming up next as well, the Red Bull Ring. He competed in the Ford Fiesta Sprint Cup in the Netherlands last year as well. Well, in the Netherlands, they're racing at Assen and Zandvoort, but they also race at Spa and Zolder, so it's kind of a Benelux championship, Belgian and Dutch, and he was 3rd in that last year, Senna van Stola. Had a guest start like Leighton Fury at Hockenheim at the end of last season in BMWs, the M2 Cup, and got some good point-scoring finishes, or would have been if he'd been a point-scoring candidate. He was a guest driver, but he got a 6th and 7th there, which was a good debut weekend. Right then, we are about to go up to full speed once again. Can Max Rozan pounce here on Leighton Fury and get the lead of the race back? Fury leads the race back up to full speed. Over the line he goes. He flashes past the commentary box window. Keep an eye on Bart Horston in the black number 50 car. The former Formula 4, Formula 3 racer, switching to the inside to try and get at the inside of Jan Matthijs. Nothing doing. Nobody changed his position. The top 6 stay as they were. I'd say the best restart there was Bart Horston. He couldn't quite get close enough to launch an attack. Driver that finished 4th in last year's championship. Australian from Perth, based in the UK for the last few years, raced in the British Formula 4, then the British GB3 and Formula 3 championships before switching to the BMW M2 Cup last year. His ambition to race in the DTM, 2nd in the championship at the moment. Leighton Fury leading the championship and also leading the Rookie Cup standings as well, which is for most drivers, as I mentioned. Right, Senna van Stola in the 24 car, getting ever closer to the tail of Max Rozan, who bounces and skips and hops over the curbs. You've got nose-to-tail action just behind between Luisa Carla, number 13, and Carmen Krab, the German and Estonian drivers, battling over 13th and 14th positions at the moment. And Senna van Stola is all over the back of Max Rozan in the battle for 2nd place at the moment. Has come down the waterfall into the left-hander at turn 12. And Bart Horston is coming under fire from Denny Burns as he comes into the shade of the trees, but fends off the German driver just behind it. Is that Luca Link having a bit of a twitch over the curves in the 33 car? Yes, it was, because Colin Jamie Berninghausen fires one at the inside, sends it into the final turn, and the green number 55 car gets through up into 7th place. Opportunistic move that from Colin, who qualified out of position really, but he's a driver that should be coming forward. He's a driver that's been competing very well of late. Top 4 in 3 of the last 4 races for Colin. Luca Link fending off now Claudia Hennig, who's trying to come back up the order. Bit of shoulder rubbing. The 23 car comes through. Claudia qualified 4th, gains 1 place back on Luca Link, so she gets herself back into the top 8 with that move. That board car number 23. So really feisty racing here. One or two drivers have said to me it's quite hard to overtake around the Sachsenring, but you can absolutely rely on these young drivers to have a go and pull off overtakes. They've been spectacular. The racing this year has been fantastic, and it's great to see these developing young talents, many of whom I think are going to have long and successful careers. Here, a replay of this side-by-side action. Neither driver giving a quarter nor an inch. Claudia Hennig getting through on Luca Link to find a way past. Gianni van der Kratzel's almost getting through as well. The guest drivers, just worth noting, don't score points. So if you finish behind a guest driver, you get bumped up in terms of the points you score. But Gianni van der Kratz at the moment in 10th place, and Esme Kosterman 15th in the red 65 car. She makes her debut in the championship. All right, there's Bart Horston, number 50, Denny Berndt, number 8. Both of them struggling a bit so far this weekend. Bart in 5th, Denny in 6th, and now 2nd and 4th in the championship. So hoping for more in this first race, and also well aware of the fact, I'm sure, that the championship leader is pulling away in the lead of the race at the moment. Here comes Robbie McAfee up the inside of Gianni van der Kratz. Good move that. If he can get through all the way through turn 1. You've got Adrian Rushdie trying to fire it away through as well, but he can't. The Australian makes the move and gets one more place back. So that's back into the top 10 now for Robbie McAfee. And a couple of good moves he's pulled off to start to creep his way back up the order. He would have been very pleased to see that safety car to get everybody bunched back in front of him. But now he needs to get his head down, because look, there's quite a big gap to the next car, which is Luca Link. So he's got more than a second to try and make up. See what his real pace is like now. He's got clear track in front of him. So the blue number 22 car of Robbie McAfee up to 10th place, back up into the top 10. A bit of an up and down season for Robbie so far, but he's had some good drives, some good results. Currently 13th in the championship. Best result was actually the very first race of the season, where he finished 7th at Oschersleben. Had a pretty good 8th place at Lausitzring on Saturday last time out, but a retirement in race 2. And he has been a pretty consistent top 10 finisher. Right, Leighton Fury, number 46, just starting to edge away now from Max Rozam. Max in the number 5 car there, the yellow and red trim on it, and come through the end of that lap. The difference is 0.7 seconds now, 1 minute 32.2 for the leader, a 132.3 for Rozam in second, a 132.3, half a tenth quicker than Rozam for Senna van Sola there in the number 24 car. And Jan Mathias, a 132.037, fastest driver on track on that lap. Second fastest driver on the track, the one behind him, Bart Horston, number 50. So 4th and 5th, started to creep up to the podium positions now, and he can see, can't you, that Senna van Sola, even though he's on the pace with those ahead of him, he's starting to come under a bit of pressure now. Well, the Czech driver, Jan Mathias, great curb camera shot there as they whip their way through over the curbs. Downhill now, they begin to plummet and tumble. You can tell there's a drop, but you can't really get a proper impression of just how steep that is. This is a big uphill climb as well, and I can tell you that because I ran the circuit last night. Ran is a very loose word. I jogged slowly, very slowly up that hill. It's pretty steep. This bit's nice though. Downhill all the way now through what's almost a non-corner, that kink at turn 11. Absolutely flat out through there. The track drops away and it just flattens out just in time to get to the braking zone and turn 12, the left-hander. But it's oh so quick out the back. It's a little bit downhill and then climbing up now as you get into the braking zone for turn 13. And look at Jan Mathias all over the back of Senna van Sola as they make their way out. A bit of twitch, a bit of a dance, and through the gravel trap goes the 57 car, kicking up the dust. He's going to lose time. He's going to lose a place. Bart Horston has got him, I think, as he goes past the commentary box window. The black car was definitely ahead. He's on the outside line, but I think he's got the job done. Yeah, Bart Horston through to 4th. Jan Mathias just that slight mistake down to 5th place when he was trying to get onto the podium positions, trying to be 3rd, ending up costing himself a place, and he just about shuts the door in time to stop number 8 Denny Berndt from coming through as well. So almost there, just he was so keen to get on the power coming out of the final turn to get a run up the hill and into turn 1 that he just overcooked it slightly. Here you see from a different angle, it's only 40-50 centimetres wide, but just that moment of time enough for him to lose the traction and momentum, and for Bart Horston to come through. And a bit of a gift that for Bart, so that will be useful because 4th gives you 2 more championship points rather than 5th, 14 points versus 12, so that will help him out a little bit. But he's still, of course, losing out to Leighton Fury, who's outscoring him by 6 points at the moment, because he is leading the race and keeping that gap at about 0.7 of a second. Denny Berndt having a luck up the inside. Oh, so late on the brakes there for Jan Mathias, which means the car gets a bit of a wobble on and the door opens up. And this could be it on the way to turn 12. Through comes Denny Byrne at the inside. Great move that from the German driver. And Colin Jamie Berninghausen's going to have a go at turn 1 as well, I reckon. They're going to go side by side over the start-finish line. Colin in the green car is on the outside, though. Jan Matthäus on the back foot here, trying not to lose 3 places in 1 lap. But he should be okay. Yeah, he's got the inside line, and in fact, he goes back on the attack. Down the inside of Denny Byrne, side by side through turn 1, through turn 2. Denny Byrne still just ahead. Brave effort that from Jan Matthäus, who almost pinched the place back. And that despite the fact he was coming under huge pressure from Colin Jamie Berninghausen on the way into turn 1. Good, close, but fair racing from all 3 drivers, that. But in the end, it's Denny Byrne that comes out on top. And look at the gap that is now given to Bart Horston. While they've been fighting each other, holding each other up, trying to outbrake each other, Bart's got his head down. And having got that 4th place a lap or so ago, he's just left them behind now, and he's firing now for a potential podium position, trying to catch Senna van Sola. Here's a replay then. Door just opened up, and Jan thought, well, you know, I'll have a go. I'll just throw it out the inside here, see what happens. And it almost worked. Like, he got his nose in front, but the momentum was just about with Denny Byrne around the outside, close to contact, close enough to have a conversation almost, but no contact. Good fair driving, and Denny held the position in the end. So Fury leads, Rosam second, Van Sola in third, Bart Horston coming after him. Then they get back to Bernd Matthäus and Berninghausen in 5th, 6th and 7th. Claudia Henning in 8th, Luca Link 9th, Robbie McAfee in 10th place. And Robbie didn't catch Luca Link on the previous lap, so he's not bringing that gap down to 9th position. As they come back into turn 1, we've got 6.5 minutes to go. A warning for number 57 for more than one change of direction, which was Jan Matthäus. So he's being watched as we get the drone cam on the way down into turn 3, downhill all the way until you get to the apex, and then steep uphill and get a good run out of that corner. You're in the grandstand watching at turn 7, you get a great view of the track with that run down to turn 3 all the way through turns 6, 7 and 8 as well. And that'll be packed today, the grandstand. There were a lot of people here yesterday just watching the practice and qualifying day. Bart Horston almost with Senna van Sola. He's got one thing on his mind, and that's getting another position, getting 3rd place. Not just because it means a visit to the podium and more silverware, but because it means more points, less points lost, less points given away to Leighton Fury, who's still on course for that 20 points. Denny Byrne still got the point for the fastest lap from earlier. But here comes Bart Horston, I think about to launch one down the inside, and the door is open. It doesn't need much invitation, and it was all about the momentum out of the previous corner, through to 3rd place, but wide and kicking up the gravel. Here is Bart Horston. He's okay though, because he's got the inside line for turn 13, and there he continues on. So up into the podium positions now. That means he's got 16 points. He's turning this around bit by bit. It's a good drive this from Bart Horston. So he's giving away 4 points to Leighton Fury now. That might be it though, because there's a big gap to make up. There's only 5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining in the race. So as it stands, 20 points plus the 2 he got from qualifying, 22 today for Leighton Fury. Bart Horston picking up 16. And then 18 points for Max Rosam in 2nd place. Plus, of course, he got pole position, so 21 points he's picked up today. So he's only losing a point to Leighton Fury, scoring 2 less than him in the race, but scored 1 more than him in qualifying. Denny Byrne currently running in 5th place on course for 12 championship points. Didn't get anything in qualifying. So Fury a 15-point lead as it stands by my maths over Bart Horston. 22.5-point lead over Max Rosam in 3rd, and a 45-point lead over Denny Byrne in 4th place as it stands. Still things can happen in this race though. Leighton Fury leads by 0.7 of a second. He's kept that gap, that 0.7 of a second, for well, ever since the restart now. And Max Rosam is as quick but can't close the gap. 1:31.7 for Fury last time around. Look at this, Denny Byrne versus Jan Matthäus. Byrne just holding on to his position there as he came through the final turn. Jan Matthäus is very quick there, the Czech driver, That's where he lost positions through the gravel trap. He's got Jamie Bernighazen to watch out for in the mirrors as well, the 55 car. But Denny Byrne holds on to 5th place. Yamate's 57, holds 6th. Colin Bernighazen remains just behind him in 7th. And then look in the mirrors, because you've got Claudia Henning, number 23, having caught them back up. Remember, she was quick enough to be 4th on the grid. Had a bad lap around about 4 or 5 minutes into the race where she dropped down the order, lost 3 places in quick succession. But she's starting to fight back now. She was as low as 9th, she's 8th, and she's got a few cars lined up in front of her. So watch for 23 at the back of this quartet. Having been overtaken by the black number 50 car at Bart Horston. Senna Van Sula, number 24, is kind of staying with him. Having to push hard though, because that queue of 4 cars isn't far back either. Could soon get sucked into that battle. Denny Byrne leading the train of cars towards what might be a proper old fight for 4th place in the last couple of minutes of the race. Time running down though, 2.5 minutes to go, plus 1 lap once the time has run down. The race lead went out for the first time in ages, 1 second exactly that time around, a 132.5 for Ferrari, 132.7 for Rozam, 133.1 for Bart Horston, so he's not catching the 2 leaders, but he is a bit quicker on that lap than Senna Van Sula, only by 0.2, but he was quicker. Past the commentary box window go the top 2. There over that little dip and roll and crest and into the braking zone for turn 1. And then you've got Bart Horston in 3rd. 4th place, Senna Van Sula, and Denny Byrne looking pretty racy here in 5th place, trying to get more points. 2 wins at Oschersleben at the start of the season and a 2nd in the first race at the Norris Ring. So he was the early championship leader, Denny Byrne, but he's only had 1 podium since then at the Nürburgring. He's a very calm, easygoing, chilled out driver. Thinks about everything, stays calm, stays relaxed. He's got a really good attitude for racing. He can pedal a car though, that is for sure. Really quick driver. Great to see these young talents developing here on a big stage as well. Driving, of course, in front of all the DTM teams. We'll be keeping an eye on them and their progress as they look for drivers to pick up in the coming years. So Denny Byrne, number 8, pushing on. It's worth making the point that all the drivers keep the same race numbers. It's just the cars they swap. And there you can see the gap on that last lap coming now by 0.6 of a second. A big chunk of time taken out. Overall, he's been really flying, hasn't he? And he's closed the gap by more than a second in the last couple of, or 3 laps of the races you've seen. But 39 seconds left on the clock. The clock is going to run out on the next lap. Just going over the start-finish line now is Leighton Fury. So 2 laps to go. Clock runs out on this one more at the end of it. 2 laps remaining. Leighton Fury looking for win number 4 of the season. 3rd on the trot, and that was a wide moment there for Luisa Carla, the German driver. She in 14th place, having a trip through the gravel trap and the grass, and that was at the end of the lap, so just trying to get back some momentum now. But look at the gap suddenly between her and Carmen Krav. Luisa Carla crosses the line, 1 minute 37.8, so overall that cost her around about 3.5 seconds, that trip. That's under investigation, that incident. They were quite close together, that's why. You get the replay. So Carmen Krav was ahead. Luisa Carla was trying to find a way through. And now we're going to look at that, the stewards. No, it's just on her own. She lost it. They were close together, but she just lost it under braking there. So I don't think there's really anything followed up on that. Carmen Krav, there was no squeezing, no blocking. As far as I could see, just got it ever so slightly wrong in that very quick section. Did well to rescue it though, Luisa Carla. There is your race leader then, Leighton Fury. Less than a lap and a half to go. Hat-trick of wins if you can make this. 4th of the season, and that would also be 6 consecutive podiums, 6 consecutive top 2 finishes. That is a proper championship charge. He goes on to the last lap of the race. Max Rozam flashes his lights, but he's falling away now. He kept him honest for much of the race, but the gap's now out to 1.3 seconds. Bart Horston with the great comeback drive from the 3rd row of the grid to 3rd, and then everybody else trying to be in 4th place here. Denny Byrne's just about hanging on to it, but Jan Mathias gets close every time, doesn't he, on the way into turn 1. But he's only got a lap to find a way past now, and then you've still got this battle going on here with Senna van Serle dropping down the order. Denny Bent and Jan Mathias have both got past Senna van Serle, so he had a slow run out of the final corner, I think. They've both got him and Senna down to 6th place, with Colin Jamie Berninghuizen right behind him now as well. So really a great start to the race for Senna. He went from 5th to 3rd. He was 3rd for quite a long time, but since the restart, it's all gone a little bit wrong for him, I'm afraid, and they're back now into 6th place. So Denny Bent up to 4th, Jan Mathias in 5th position. So that's a couple more points for Denny Bent as well. 14 points plus the point for the fastest lap he's going to get as well. Right, Leighton Fury controlling things at the head of the field, the South African. He comes through the end of the second sector. He's got 2 corners to go, and it all looks completely under control, doesn't it? Very smooth as ever aboard the number 46 car. Lets it drift out, but not too wide, not too ragged over the curbs. He knows he's got time to play with here. As he comes into the final corner, the checkered flag awaits. And Leighton Fury takes another win, a hat-trick, 3 wins on the trot, 4 wins out of the last 2.5 weekends now, and Leighton Fury extends his championship lead. What a run he is on. He takes the victory from Max Rosam after a hard-fought start to the race. Bart Horston with a good battling drive to come through into 3rd position to round out the podium. Denny Bent also making good progress up to 4th place. Jan Mathias ending up in 5th. Senna van Serle losing out on that last lap and a half or so, down to 6th place. Colin Berninghuizen 7th. Claudia Henning in 8th. Luca Link 9th. Robbie McAfee crosses the line 10th. Gianni van der Kratz in 11th. Adrian Rujny 12th. And then Carmen Kraft 13th. Louisa Carla 14th. Esme Kosterson brings it home on her first BMW M2 Cup drive in 15th place. And the one we lost was Julius Denison. Fastest lap going to Denny Bent, and the championship point for that. So 20 points for the win, 2 points for qualifying on pole, 22 points coming the way of Leighton Fury, and 3rd place, 16 points coming to Bart Horston, with Max Rosam, who's 3rd in the championship, securing 18 points plus the 3 got for pole. And that means, I reckon, a 15-point lead now for Leighton Fury in the championship. So he's doubled his tally over since the start of the weekend. And remember, he's on the front row of the grid alongside Max Rosam tomorrow as well. It's the same front row for tomorrow's race based on 2nd fastest lap times, albeit there was just 4 thousandths of a second between their 2nd best lap times in that qualifying session yesterday. So the drivers will be making their way back into the pit lane momentarily, where the first thing I should think they'll want to do is grab a swig of water, because it's not anywhere near as hot as it was at the Lausitz Ring, but it's getting hotter even in that race. A couple of degrees the temperature has risen by, and very hot in the cars as well. Confirmation of the results then. After 20 laps of racing, Leighton Fury gets another win, extends his championship lead. Max Rosam and Bart Horston 2nd and 3rd. Denny Bent 4th, Jan Mathias 5th. Senna van Serle dropping back at the end to 6th place. Colin Jamie Berninghuizen in 7th, and Claudia Henning in 8th place. Luca Link comes home 9th. Robbie McAfee dropped back at the start of the race with that trip through the gravel trap, but rebounded into 10th place in the end. Gianni van der Kratz comes home 11th in his 2nd weekend of the championship. Adrian Rujny, I get to see him back after illness last time out. He's 12th. Carmen Kraft 13th. Louisa Carla 14th. And Esme Kosterman in 15th place. So there you can see the cars now coming into the holding area, and Leighton Fury first to arrive there. 17-year-old South African, 2 wins at the Lausitz Ring, a win here at the Sachsenring, and suddenly extending that championship lead out to almost a race wins advantage, with only 3 races to go, remember, in the championship. Sachsenring tomorrow, 2 weeks' time, the Red Bull Ring. And he looks a cool customer, Leighton Fury. Christine Curling there, greeting him as he gets out of the car. She looks after all the media and the PR for the BMW M2 Cup. And a very happy Leighton Fury takes off the gloves and gets out of the car. And you can see extending his championship lead. That doesn't include the 2 points he got for qualifying on the front row. So I reckon it's 15 points over Bart Horston and 147. And there is Bart in the background. Would be bittersweet, that. He knows he's lost points to Leighton Fury. but he also knows it was a good drive, a good effort that to come through and get himself onto the podium. So Fury, Rosam and Horston, the top three on the podium. Let's get some reaction now down in the pit lane with Verena Reed.
And I've got Max Rosam here. Unfortunately, right in the beginning, you lost P1. Now you're second place, but it was a tough race. And are you happy with your second place and podium once again?
Yeah, good race, but Leighton was a bit faster, and so it's in the end it's P2.
What are you happy about that?
Yeah.
Do it tomorrow. Tomorrow you can get your victory, Max. All right. And all right there. Well, congratulations. Here's the man who snapped away the P1 position, because now you got victory. So you also extended your championship lead even the more. So you've got to be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, we know the penultimate round was really like our important round. I saw he had a bit of a slow start, so I kept it there. He did push me quite a bit, and I know how desperate he is for a win this season. But I knew once I was there, I just had to ignore the BWT board a little bit. And then, I clipped it and I kept it into turn one. And then from there, we touched a little bit out of two. But otherwise, it was a clean race and controlled it very well. I'm very happy with that.
Did a great job. Thank you so much. And we've got the Bart. Hello there. And there's the man who managed to come from P6 to P3. So you've got to be happy about this podium.
Yeah, well, certainly the result I had on Friday with qualifying was not what I wanted, P7, and then I think with the grid penalty moved up. And then, I just kept it clean and still learning. It's a really cool track, just still learning it. I think about lap 5, I felt like I kind of knew where the track was. So, it was good. Still a bit lost in some places, but good enough to get P3, so I'm really happy.
Congratulations. And that's it from the BMW M2 Cup. And now here are your commentators.
Thanks very much, Verena. So you heard from the top three there, the very tall Max Rosam. Happy with second? Yeah-ish. But he's fell up a seconds. He wants the win. He's had 4 second-place finishes and 2/3 now. Surely the win is on the way, though. He's got another chance for pole position tomorrow. Bart Horston, not a good day yesterday, as he said, but a very good drive through to 3rd place for him. So Bart Horston with his 6th podium finish of the season. Max Rosam with his 6th podium finish of the season as well, yet to get the win. But for Leighton Fury, it's a 7th podium of the year, but more crucially, it is a 4th win of 2023, a 3rd win on the bounce, and more championship points to extend his advantage at the top of the table with 3 rounds to go in the BMW M2 Cup 2023. Yeah, important point that made by actually Bart Horston. He's the one driver that was competing in this championship last year, but of course they didn't come to the Sachsenring last year, so he's in the same boat as all the rookies in trying to learn the track. But good effort by him nonetheless. It's worth noting as well that we have a rookie podium that's done separately back in the paddock, and mechanics are presented, the top 3 mechanics presented with trophies as well. You'll see those trophies brought out onto the grid, onto the podium. And they are then presented because it's very much about teamwork, this. The mechanics, of course, play their part, and the engineers getting the cars set up and getting as much out of them for the drivers as they can, and then making sure everything's in tip-top shape. So that's a nice touch that they do at the championship. They also invite different members of the Cup team, sometimes the technical team, the behind-the-scenes staff, to help present trophies as well. And the top 3 always get a special set of trainers each, gold, silver and bronze, depending on where you finished on the podium, from Born Original. So they're going to be presented as well. You can just see them there on the pedestal to the right of the podium. Chris Deedy's just waiting for the drivers to grab a swig of water, and then they'll be called out onto the podium, which overhangs the pit lane here. And there are the trophies for the top 3. So top 3 overall will be up on the podium. That rookie podium ceremony later on. You heard from David Schoner earlier, who's got this very innovative electric bike that he's developed, and with his separate battery unit, quick swappable battery unit that he's got. He's going to present one of the trophies today as well. It's fascinating to him talk about that yesterday. Gave me a little demo of the bike, and it's very, very quick and incredibly quiet, and very clever technology as well, with separate battery, no chains on the back wheels, all independently driven, the back with a separate battery within the electromagnetic battery within the back wheel. So he's going to present one of the trophies. We've got our top 3 up onto the podium then, and then we'll get the national anthem of your race winner, Leighton Fury. South African national anthem plays here at the Sachsenring. Will it play again tomorrow? Will it be win number 5 of the season? He can almost touch that championship trophy now, but he's a realist. He knows there's still a lot of work to do. So our first trophy is presented to Bart Horston. That's Virginia Vipert, who's a representative of the technical side of the BMW M2 Cup. So Virginia presents the trophy to Bart Horston for 3rd place. That's Arno Vesto, who's going to present the 2nd place trophy now to Max Rosam. If you can reach him up there on top of the podium, the very tall German driver. DTM expert and journalist is Arno. And there is David Cherno, you heard from on the grid, this very talented young engineering student who's developed this electric bike and is on display in the paddock here this weekend. And he presents the winning trophy to our 4-time race winner this season and championship leader, Leighton Fourie. So they've now got their Born Originals trainers. They're the tyre trophies that you can see underneath. They're the trophies that are going to be given to the mechanics in the separate podium presentation back in the paddock, the BMW M2 Cup paddock, in a while. They've still got an autograph session to do this afternoon as well. Still got lots of duties from the drivers as well. So the drivers all ready to pose for the one last set of photos, then they'll put everything down, and I reckon they get the champagne out as we look forward to tomorrow morning's 2nd race. So they're the top 3. Leighton Fourie in the middle, to the left of your picture, Max Rosam, and there, Bart Horston. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage from Verena and me, Chris Hartley. Thanks for watching the BMW M2 Cup here at the Sachsenring. Bye for now.